Hello everybody, my name is Isabel and I'm going to tell you a story that is a true one. About 20 years ago, I was working in a cafe, so I had to go there early in the morning at 6 o'clock. It was still dark. I took my bike and on my way there, a car, the only car at that moment, at that time, driving, hit me from behind and I flew over 50 meters. I became unconscious and I woke up in the hospital. Already they had put staples in my head, sewn my lips, and then they found out because I had pain that I had broken my fibula and my back. So it was really, I was really lucky. The doctor said that because of the muscles that I had, I was really lucky of that fall. It could have been worse. But it was a change. This was a change in my life. I had come from the summer where I had been hiking and biking, challenging myself physically, being very social, and now I'm faced with the fact that I cannot move. That same day, my kids came to the hospital and they saw me that I was full of blood and I was under morphine. They were in shock. They were in shock. But I didn't realize it then. They went back home. I continued my week. And then when I went back home, I couldn't walk. I couldn't drive. So my mom came over for until I could drive. She came over as long as I needed her to help me with it, cooking, with the kids, to take them to school, to take them to other activities, because they still needed to go to their activities. So their life continued as normal while I was healing. So to make it as normal as possible. Mentally, I was almost there, but not quite. So I couldn't really talk to them about what was happening and what had happened to them. So they started going to see, they went to see a psychologist, a cognitive behavior psychologist that helped them through this whole situation, through their stress. And it really helped them a lot. I'm really happy I did that. In the meantime, I was healing physically. I was trying to, every day that went by, the body was healing physically until I could walk with a walker. And so they were really happy when they saw me walk with a walker, like, oof, she's not gonna die. She's getting better. It was a sign that I was getting better. So this is what my life was for the first few months. I asked my mom if we could go to the cafe. She drove to the cafe. But as I got inside the car, it became overwhelming. It's time to face the world. And here I am, somebody who has always been able to face everybody. I was always being able to be social. And I find myself overwhelmed by the fact that I needed to go outside my house. It's like a fear came over me. But I made the effort. I was like, okay, I have to. So I went to the cafe and I started talking to people. People I knew, which was I was very natural always, but this time I felt I was completely disconnected with my body, completely disconnected with the person that was talking. There was a disconnection between my brain, my body, my what I was saying. I was forcing myself in a sense. And then I bumped into somebody that I knew and she told me, you lost your shyness in your eyes. You lost your sparkle in your eyes. And I was like, well, that was a shock because to me, that meant I lost my identity because that's what I had before. It's my joy. I gave people joy. I was joyful. I was happy. And now my sparkle is gone. Ooh, who am I now? Who am I? That was a shock at one point. It was like, wow, reality. But then I forgot about it because I was like, okay, I'm going to keep going. So I forget about myself. I forget that there's things going on. All I needed to do was fix myself physically. That's all I needed. So I went home and every day I would come back and come back. And little by little, I accommodated. I adapted to the situation by forgetting about myself, and I did look in the mirror sometimes, and I saw that there is truth in what this girl said. So, but I couldn't do anything. I just didn't know what to do. I just didn't know what to do. All I knew was to keep going. That's what I had always been taught. Keep going. And all you need to do is fix your physical. Once your physical is fixed, you can do anything. That's what I always thought. So I just kept going. I kept going, and at the end, I was able to take my kids. When I was able to drive a few months later, I was able to take my kids to other activities. So it was fine for me, I thought. Then I went to the summer. I went back to Europe in the summer, and in the summer is where I find my families, where I find my cousins, where we invite people over, where I do a lot of sports. I go hiking, I go biking, all that I do. But I found myself in a very different situation this time. My parents would say, we have somebody to invite. We're going to invite somebody for dinner. Oof, I would get angry. Why? I had no clue. I would just get angry because I don't understand how they can invite somebody. I don't understand how they don't see that I cannot be with people. That was my main thing. So I would get angry. They didn't understand why I would get angry. Or they would say, clean the kitchen. And I would also get angry because it's like, why me? It's really, I would get angry about everything. I was in this fighting mood. So but when people came over, they still invited people. So when people came over, I would wake up and I would say, okay, I need to get over this. I really need to get over this. I need to get over this day. I'm going to make the effort. I'm going to keep going. That was my motto. I need to keep going. So I kept going, and I would sit at the table, make conversation, really force myself to make conversations, really force myself to forget about myself, in fact, to ignore what I'm feeling, because that's what I was meant to do in that situation. And that's what I needed to do in those situations if I wanted to see more people and I wanted to go out. Then also, in other situations, for example, going hiking, I would take my kids hiking, and I really needed to force myself also. I wouldn't enjoy it. I would make short hikes instead of 3-hour ones. I would make only half-an-hour hikes, but I still could not enjoy nature. There I asked myself, that's kind of weird. I don't enjoy the nature? That's really weird. But I didn't know what to do. I had no clue what to do, and I didn't know how to do anything. I was never faced with that, so I didn't do anything. All I knew is that I had a hard time with life. So sometimes I would stay in my room a whole day in the dark, which is not like me at all. But I just didn't want to do anything. I just didn't want to face anything. I didn't want to face the fact that I couldn't do anything. I just wanted to relax in my room, but I wasn't relaxing. I was just getting myself away from everything. I was, in fact, fleeing everything. So one day, my mom says, why don't you call this person that helps you when you're in normal circumstances? You know, we get a massage with this person from time to time. And I don't know what she does, but she does something that's really good. So I make an appointment with her, and I need to drive an hour away, which is, in normal circumstances, I've done this trip over and over and over, and it's no big deal. It's in the highway, straight road, no big deal. But for some reason, I was late already from the start. So that stressed me a lot. So I started stressing. Then on my way there, I was really, really stressing because I was late. Really, really stressing. I couldn't, it so much, I didn't know what was happening. It was so overwhelming. And I got to the place, I parked in the parking lot, and I ran to her office. She kept me for 3 hours instead of 1. She made me pay 1 hour, so that was nice. After that, I went to the car, and I saw that my keys were inside the car. I froze. I didn't know what to do. I'm 35 years old. I didn't know what to do. So I called the woman that had just helped me and I said, what do? I was crying. And she says, just talk to the guy in the garage. So I called the guy in the garage and go, hey, can you help me get the keys out? And I was crying. So he helped me. At the end, I got into my car and went back home. What she did, helped me get through the summer. And then I went back home and I didn't have this woman, so I had to find something else, but I didn't know what to do. So by chance, my son, he has food sensitivity. So I went to somebody who was working on a method for food sensitivity, then I ate. And it happens that this woman was working in cranial sacral also. So I asked, what is it? Because I'm not sleeping well. I can't sleep. What can I do? This has to be with the cranial, with the brain. So let me do something about it. So I went and I did something about it. I made an appointment and wow, this started to, I was starting to feel a little bit better. I slept normal. The cranial sacral was helping a lot. So I kept coming back every week. At one point I relived my whole, when I fell 50 meters away, I relived that with her. So things were getting a little bit better, but still, I wasn't asking myself very much questions. I wasn't telling myself that I was stressed. I wasn't telling myself that I needed to do something. I just went along with the flow. The craniosacral was helping, so maybe this is it. And then all I know is that I was getting a lot more tired. I was getting, I couldn't do any exercise as I could before. It was really, I was getting exhausted really easily. So what I would do before I pick up the kids from school, I would tell myself that I needed to lay down for 1 hour so I can handle the rest of the day. So by laying down, I would bring down my cortisol level and I brought down my, I replenished, in fact, myself to be able to handle this. So the year went by and I needed all this stress that I had in my body, I had to compensate it. And I was compensating it by going out every day. I needed to go and have fun, just forget about life, forget, and go out and meet people and just forget about it. And it didn't matter. And of course, in all this, my husband then and we separated more and more because it was, there was no communication and it was more, I was living my own life in the mode of survival. And I guess in his own way, he was doing the same thing. I don't know, we never talked. And I decided I wanted to move to France with my 3 kids. I just wanted a new start. I needed to move and to do what I wanted to always do, is come back to France. So I did that with the 3 kids. And by complete chance, or maybe not, there was a Chinese medicine school next to my house. And that was the start of my journey with energy work, healing, and understanding the connection between the body, the mind, and the spirit. So yeah, my accident was terrible, but it was a blessing in disguise. It cracked me open. It told me, it forced me, whether I wanted to know or not, it forced me to feel, to listen to myself, and to understand how we can shift our energy to heal, not only physically, but emotionally and spiritually also. So if you're curious about the path I took and everything that I learned, you're welcome to follow me in the next videos. And you can begin to transform your life also.